A formative event for me as a youth was the war in Iraq. The Republicans were in power, and after the 9/11 attacks, they were going to show those Arabs who was boss. The Bush administration told us how America had to be defended from a rogue state that aligned itself with Osama bin Laden and was building an arsenal of weapons of mass destruction that could be used to reign world terror. Netanyahu testified at the time about the importance of getting Iraq's WMDs, and overthrowing Saddam Hussein was part of his long-term plan for Middle East domination. On top of that, everybody was saying how Saddam Hussein was the new Hitler and he sucked the dick of Satan. Even if he didn't have WMDs taking down a tyrant who used chemical attacks against his enemies, engaged in genocide against the Kurds, and had a torture dungeon below his palace was just the right thing to do. America was so hyped to fight the war on terror. I watched the shock and awe campaign on cable news with patriotic pride. What a beautiful, effective, and efficient war this was. It was a magnificent fireworks display of clean deaths that we never needed to see. We were kicking their asses so quick. We killed them from afar, and our troops hardly had to do any dirty work. Or at least that's how it seemed at first. And we were a generation that understood the importance of supporting those troops. Vietnam veterans were called baby killers by dirty hippies who hated America. These troops shamefully ended up battling PTSD alone after their country failed to support them. Some people say the system failed to give them adequate mental health services and jobs programs, but I blame the hippies. We Iraq war supporters weren't going to repeat that mistake. We supported the troops no matter what. Then I started to have a moment of doubt in 2004 when some traitor journalist caught a soldier shooting an unarmed civilian in Fallujah. Why the hell would he film that and release it? That's not the same war I had been watching on Fox. I hated him for his treasonous failure to support the troops, but then I had to think, why is that soldier in a situation where he feels he needs to do that? Isn't that the same kind of thing they said soldiers in Vietnam did? Then that damn occupation lasted for over 8 years. There were tens of thousands of American soldier casualties. Many died at the hands of bombs planted in the road or by suicide bombers. And once Hussein was removed from power, the warring factions in Iraq between the Sunni, the Shiites, the Kurds, and ISIS slaughtered each other in mass numbers. Combined with those killed by Americans, almost 1 million Iraqis died in the war. Mass graves were still being found years after the war ended, and the satanic mass slaughter changed my perception of America and American foreign policy. It was revealed that the stories of weapons of mass destruction were all lies. Bush created so many shell-shocked and crippled veterans, you would think that his pet project would be fixing the broken veteran hospital system. And instead of a presidential library, he would build a presidential veterans hospital. But no, he just donated to a few small token charities that didn't do much, and he hosts an event where wounded veterans go on a bike ride with him. Can you imagine how brainwashed these poor troops are, that they feel honored to go on a bike ride with a man who crippled them for life and killed many of their friends? All because he lied so he could wage a regime change war that was part of Israel's plan to vanquish its enemies in the region. That's why it was so satisfying the way Trump owned Jeb Bush in the 2016 debates and let him know MAGA were not interested in a return to Bush-era republicanism, and we weren't going to have a repeat of what happened during the Iraq War. Damn, I hate Iran. They are the world's #1 sponsor of terror. I have no idea who the #2 is, or how much they spend, or how that compares. Is there a graph or some shit? Because people keep saying they are #1. Now, when America sponsors Al-Qaeda in Syria, does that count as sponsoring terror? Probably not. I mean, for the past 20 years, I have heard on the news that Al-Qaeda are bad hombres. I mean, for Christ's sake, Osama bin Laden was their leader. But if they control Syria now, that's cool with me. These are the good Al-Qaeda who will help Israel fight Iran. That's what's important. As an American firster, the cause I am most passionate about is Israel gaining control of the entire Middle East. Israel needs secure borders, and destroying anyone with military power in the Middle East is the best way to maintain security. The main threat to their borders is Iran having weapons of mass destruction. There was a nuclear proliferation treaty that Trump had ripped up before, and they were negotiating a second one, which it turned out Trump wasn't even serious about because he knew Israel were going to attack. And all evidence shows they are just trying to develop nuclear power, which is legal for any country to do. At the same time, Israel have a nuclear arsenal that they refuse to let be inspected by the Atomic Energy Agency. In fact, Israel having nukes is the reason the Middle East is not a nuclear-free zone. Israel has attacked 5 countries since October 7th: Palestine, Syria, Iran, Lebanon, and Yemen. And Israel keep attacking Iran, trying to start a war, while Iran only give proportional responses to avoid escalation. This can only mean one thing. The Trump administration are honestly telling us that Iran have weapons of mass destruction. Iran are the death to America people. And I don't know much about their leader, the Ayatollah, but I heard he's worse than Hitler, and he's obsessed with eradicating the Jews. All my life, every time I look on the news, that is who they are. The entire nation is an angry crowd of radical jihadists who hate us for our freedom. And when they aren't stoning their women or having sex with goats, they are plotting the death of all Americans. Iran is not some nice place where you would want to go on a fun vacation. It's not a place that has interest in history and architecture to explore. It doesn't have good food like America does, and all their women are oppressed and miserable. They don't have nice museums. Their public markets are weird and scary. The average Iranian spends 80% of their waking hours doing terrorism. They hardly have time to eat, raise their families, or take part in normal activities of daily living. Maybe they do their oil business sometimes, I guess. Iranians often apologize to Allah when they spend too long in the bathroom because it took time away from their terrorism. That's why we need Operation Iraqi Freedom. Oh wait, I mean Operation Rising Lion, to keep the world safe from these nuclear weapons and free the Iranian people from the oppressive yoke of the Ayatollah. Let's not forget the importance of supporting the troops like those brave pilots they send in to bomb the nuclear research site. The Doge budget cuts are totally gutting the veteran hospital system, but whatever. Trump says support the troops. Also, kudos to the heroic Israeli forces that blew up the apartment buildings of the scientists working and all the innocent people who happened to stay in those buildings. Oh wait, what's the news? The war only lasted 12 days and we won? Iran pummeled Israel with missiles, so I'm going to read that as a win. And that's it. Israel isn't going to attack Iran again, right? They only cared about the nuclear arms and they don't care about regime change. Oh, cool. That's like the first Gulf War then. Yep, this is totally different from Iraq. I don't think Trump betrayed MAGA at all. Iran should go into negotiations with America again because the Trump administration showed they can be trusted. I don't think there's any plot to destroy the Iranian government, kill the supreme leader, and throw the region into chaos like America did in Iraq and Libya. Israel, fuck yeah! Here to save the motherfucking day. Yeah, Israel, fuck yeah.
The mighty Zardoz thanks you for watching this video and now commands you to like, comment, and subscribe. You are my loyal subjects and must obey. I also command you to visit sloppymemes.com and watch the next video linked. Zardoz has spoken.